But you've got a newsletter. You are on social media. It's not everything that you're doing, but you do have a very distinct presence. And then, of course, you're facing the same challenge as writers around the world right now in quarantine for pandemic while you're launching your book. So what are you doing to effectively market and keep yourself out there during this time?
Well, I'm doing podcasts like this, where I get to do the most fun thing ever, which is talk about writing and hopefully talk about my books in some way. And yeah, social media. I do have a newsletter. What else am I doing? I'm planning to put together some giveaways for the next week, like the week. What is today? Today's the 4th of October. Yeah, so it's like 9 days till the book comes out. So in the next week, I'm gonna have a giveaway on Twitter, so people should look out for that. I also do library research outreach in South Africa, so just with local librarians. I try to kind of go to all different schools and contact them and chat to them. Obviously, I haven't been able to do that during the pandemic. I try to do school visits also. I do school visits on Skype with schools all over the world. So yeah, that's the stuff that I do. I'm not a marketing expert though. I'm much better at writing the books than marketing the books. But yeah, I try to do my part because obviously when you write a book, you really want people to read it and you want to tell people about it. And I guess the best way to do that is just to talk about how excited you are about it and just to tell people about it. And what more can you do?
I don't know, but when I find out, I'm going to do it. My last question, thank you so much for making the time. I know we had to reschedule a few times. We've been looking forward to this since way back when. It has lived up to all my excitement and more. This has been just a wonderful conversation. Thank you for being such an excellent guest. But my final question for most everyone is usually some version or some variation of if you could go back to the start of your writing career and give yourself one or two or however many pieces of advice you like that would have made your path going forward much easier. It might make the path of everyone listening much easier. What would you go back and tell yourself?
I would tell myself to write fantasy, to write magical books, because right in the beginning, I was writing really realistic stories. And even today, if I try, like I recently had a book idea and I was like, well, it would be interesting if I set this in the real world and it could be like some magic, but also real world elements. And I kind of brainstormed it and I figured out like after a while, I just didn't feel excited about it. I don't know why, but I'm not built to write about the real world. I love reading about it. And I think there are some writers who do it so well and who really translate like realistic experience, human experience into prose. But I'm not one of those writers. And I kind of wish I'd known that earlier on, because then I wouldn't have spent a couple of years trying to write realistic stories and not knowing like why I couldn't make it work. Because as soon as I made the switch to writing more magical, speculative work, something really changed in my writing. Like I just got better ideas and I was able to push through and I was able to write more interesting stories. And I was more excited about the stories. But I also had this thing, so I think it was because I had never really been a huge fantasy reader. Like growing up, obviously I read like Narnia and things like that, but I didn't read Tolkien until I was 21, I think. And it also felt like, I guess I kind of felt like, well, I'm not going to write something like Lord of the Rings. I wasn't plugged into like this fandom or like this culture of writing like second world fantasy. So I had a lot of imposter syndrome about it. I didn't know if I could do it. And I kind of felt like, is that really for me? Like, can I actually do it? So yeah, I think I would go back and just say, don't worry about it. Just write magical stories the way that you write them and it'll be okay. And that's what I always say to writers is write the stuff that makes you excited, write the stuff that you love, write the stuff that fascinates you and you'll be okay.